So, a while back, I put this machine on the passenger side going up a hill. Post a picture of it. No one got it on video. Did a little damage, like here and here. It bent my cage. Actually broke the cage right here. Just a 180 roll. Just not even 180. 90-degree whirl. Ended up putting another cage on this machine. Got the cage for $100, and it actually had some extra little parts sitting on it. So I am going to be reusing some of these parts for this chase bar. Yeah, good old pair of clamps. So these clamps are going to go up under here, and then this chase bar is going up like so. I'm going to try and see about flipping that hook the other way, so that's on top. Maybe not. I don't think that's an option. Probably can be. I just got to undo these bolts here, flip it around. And then this bar is going to sit pretty much right up under here, like so. As pretty much close as I can get it like that. I'm going to leave a little room for that to come through, but yeah. I have also looked at drilling into here and putting it up here, but I'm not sure. I'm going to continue to play around with this chase bar just a little bit and see what I can come up with. Alright, so as you can see, what I ended up doing, just bolting straight through for this mount. So yeah, my original idea was to use a clamp back here, but that wasn't working, so I just drilled straight through and put it on the old mount. Now it's just a bunch of boring stuff like running wire and running the sequencer, which shouldn't be too terrible to do. Once I get everything ran, and once I kind of troubleshoot everything, I will go over how the Lit Industries sequencer works. Also, something I forgot to mention, I'm putting are some more lights. I got a strip from Infinite, and then as you can kind of see right here, I got some of their magnetic lights. These are actually 6-watt rock lights, and they're magnetic. So I'm going to place them around up here. They are magnetic. I shouldn't lose them, and if I do, they will be, wired together. So yeah, that will be on its own, I say channel, but not really. It'll be part of the rock lights, but it'll be on its own modular through the rock lights. With that said, when I hit the beer light button, which will no longer be on the Alpha 12, it'll be on the dash. I'll show you, I got some push buttons for that. We have a push button that will do the beer lights. So what that's going to do is it's going to turn all the lights, so this bar and these two little rocker lights, it's going to turn that to white. That way I can see in here and get my beer. Duh. The beer light also will still turn these white as well. And all that will be wired throughout. I'll show you how we'll do that. And then, yeah. So right now I'm just going to pull apart the rocker panel. That way I can run all my wiring nice and neat underneath. And then, per as usual, the same way with the rocker switches, the accessory wire, which is the yellow wire, will turn the lights on and off of the rocker switch, and then the rocker switch itself will be powered through the bus. I shouldn't say the bus, not the pulse. The set of wires coming off of the auxiliary battery. So yeah, stay tuned. With this chase bar, I have the chase bar, nope, that's the valve. Chase bar rocker switch somewhere. Yep. So I got the chase light rocker switch here, as you can see clearly. I will be removing the USB port and cutting a hole and putting it under here. So now I will have my winch, my light bar, my exhaust, the chase bar, and then I'm also tapping into the wiring of the chase bar to override and do the white. And then SuperATV was running a special, so I got some of these good old laser whips. So that'll be going up there as well. How I am planning on doing all this wiring, so I was thinking I'm going to have to run another bus coming off of my auxiliary battery. No, I decided not to. As I'm thinking about it, the light bar will be on at night. The chase bar won't be active at night because I have my whips at night. So the chase bar and the light bar won't be on at the same time. So I'm using the same power wire that comes off my main battery to power both of those. Again, like I said, they won't be on at the same time. The only time the chase bar will come on at night is when the white is turned on, either me doing a manual override, which would be hill climbing. Alien lights, power for that. Power is actually going to come off of the whip light. Now that power is going to go directly into the rocker switch for them. Just because I turn on the panel for the alien lights or the laser lights, whatever you want to call them. I know Alien is the brand. We'll just, when I say Alien, that's what we're talking about. So when I turn that button on, the Alpha 12, it will send now power to the rocker switch, but I have to turn that rocker switch on or off, or on, to power those on. Because it's going to be one of those things, obviously it's not always going to be on. Daylight, I'm not going to be running it. Nighttime, unless it's dusty or misty, you're really not going to see them. And honestly, the only reason I got them is because I had SuperATV points. They were running a 40 or 50% off site-wide. So I bought an axle, got those pretty much for free after using my points and the already existing deals. So shout out to SuperATV on that. I know we give SuperATV a bunch of crap. So I know I have not filmed a whole lot of the wiring because that's just boring. But in order for me to properly do all the wiring, I had to drop the skid plate, the tree kicker, and the rocker rail, or the rocker panel. So I got all my wiring tucked up and through here. Orange wire will be the wire for the switching of the chase colors. The red and gray, I forgot what, red obviously will be power to the chase, black will be ground, and then this gray wire I have to splice together, and that's what's also going to turn modular number 2 for the cooler lights to white. So yeah. One other thing I did change out is I have a LED strip over here under the cab. Be tied into the center portion of the Razor, and I always have that one kind of doing like a slow pulse. And I didn't like the interior constantly pulsing, So I just tapped off that modular for the cooler. So now when I turn the white on for the cooler, it's also white on inside. Kind of a nice little extra feature I'm doing. And that way it's not messing with me doing that all night, because that does get annoying, quite annoying after a while. So I do have to turn that switch off. So I know that was a lot of explaining, a lot of dumb information within about 15 minutes. So yeah, the video following up to this, I will be finally installing the stator. As I stated before, I want to do all this to the machine first, not necessarily to see if it'll handle it, but more or less to see doing small things at once, to make sure I didn't do something wrong with the stator or did something wrong here. That way it's easier for me to trace and diagnose what I did wrong. Unfortunately, I probably won't be testing this until we get to the trail, so I'm hoping everything works out. Well, this was a nightmare of rat's nest wiring that I'm still got to work on. What I end up having to do, I still am using those diodes, but it's not how I originally had pictured it working. I had pictured both going in and then going out just to the white channel, which is the white wire here coming out of the Lit Industries modular. However, when I do that and hit the rocker switch to turn on the white, it turns the whole modular on for some odd reason, and I don't know why. The other issue I was having, the rocker switch on the bottom. So typically, I have my paper over there. So typically your rocker switch wiring, I've gone over this a few times in the past. This is how I always wire my rocker switches. Well, if you see number 6 is the dash and then the accessory, those actually have to be married together for some reason, because next to power number 2 is the momentary button itself, and it needs constant voltage for some reason. I don't know all the specifics on how that works, but I can't wire it the normal way, so that's why the momentary wasn't working earlier. So fast forward, I emailed Lit Industries, and then they mentioned, make sure your voltage is going to both terminals, and yeah, it was not. So that was issue number 1. Issue number 2 is when I would turn on the rocker switch to turn the white on the chase bar. I'll go ahead and show you. So everything's kind of unplugged. So this is the chase bar. As you can see, it's doing its chase. This is the one I'm probably going to keep it on. It stays on amber, then it flickers red and white. There's a wire I'm actually not using, and it is the white wire. The white wire is also a white, I think it's white, or maybe, yeah, it's white out. For some odd reason, trying to rack my brain on this and testing everything. I will show you my cheat sheet on how I had to wire everything for the Lit Industries modular to the Infinite Offroad. So I will put in the description, I will notate this, so if you're running this combination, you don't have to go through all the hassle. However, now if you do want to tap into the turd signal, this will not work because green and yellow are married together for some reason. I don't know how this all works, but how I basically ended up testing each wire to see which one they do is going through the override features on these, which you have brake, running, turn signals, yada yada yada, and the white. So that's how I figured out what wires I need to match on the Infinite wire harness. And another thing, I don't know why, I usually run my ground going back to the rocker switch. For some reason, I can't do that with this modular. I have to run the ground directly to the battery. So I have the ground for the chase, and basically I have the ground, these both grounded together, coming out to a little jumper that also grounds my chase bar all the way to the battery. Yes, I will address the heat shrinking later. Once I get my better heat gun, I'm going to try getting a smaller heat gun. So I have one of those big old hairdryer ones. And I don't feel comfortable using a lighter over here because I don't want to, you know, go kaboom. So, lights are on. This is going to be my override to go white. As you can see, it turns white. And again, it has to do with some of the wiring I did, which is kind of cool. It gives me dual verification at night that I have the white on as a reminder. When I just hit the white override, for some reason this one turns on. I think it's because I have it daisy chained with power and whatnot. But anyhow, that works as well.